After attacking Vin Diesel for years, The Rock's lies are finally being exposed. Vin asked The Rock to help him keep his final promise to Paul Walker after his tragic death. But The Rock betrayed him, calling him a candy accusing him of using Paul's death to manipulate him.
I'm never gonna forgive him, mother.
You wanna go there? You wanna go there? Okay.
But now people are finally seeing the truth behind The Rock's attacks. Will Vin be able to keep his final promise to Paul, or will The Rock force him to break it?
I will always show up for Paul Walker. We lost my brother Pablo, but the relationships in that franchise are so strong that it transcends the movie, and you spend 15 years going from being a nobody to somebody with a brother, and then one day he's gone. This was unlike anything we could have imagined.
Vin and Paul put everything into building the Fast family together, and that included The Rock.
As much as I appreciate them opening their arms to this already established family, a real family, it was also important to me to earn the brotherhood with everyone.
I very much like working with Dwayne Johnson. So much of Fast and Furious is celebrating brotherhood that's eternal. It goes beyond the movie.
We really love each other.
If you love someone, they're your family.
He represents what every guy wants in an older brother.
Part of that brotherhood is your godfather to his beautiful, wonderful daughter.
Paul comes into my trailer, he says, "What's up?" I told him I was about to have a baby and I have to go to the hospital now. He said, "A lot of tough guys will tell you, don't go in the delivery room." And he said, "But Vin, go into that delivery room, be present and cut that umbilical cord, and it will be the best day of your life." And it was the best day of my life.
So Vin was devastated when suddenly,
Fast and Furious star Paul Walker killed in a fiery car accident.
Walker's co-star Vin Diesel going to the scene of the fatal crash.
Getting emotional as he addressed the crowds outside.
I just wanted to say thank you. If my brother were here right now and he saw the love that you were bringing, thank you for coming.
I don't have that person that's dreaming up the impossible with me.
After Paul's death, Vin shared his grief with the world, but people just wanted him to move on.
Try to imagine how you'd feel if your best friend wasn't here. Then imagine how you'd feel if your own brother wasn't here. The last time I stood on this stage, I was with my brother Pablo. It's been a long day without you, my friend.
King of cringe, Vin Diesel.
It must have been tough for you to shoot without Paul Walker. And they're both looking at me right now like, is this gonna be too much for him? Because it could be.
Yeah.
We could change the tone of the whole show.
As Vin tried to move on with his life, he wanted to keep Paul's legacy alive, and he thought The Rock would support him, but instead,
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson rips his Fast 8 co-star, saying
Vin was always late, he was arrogant.
The Rock and Vin Diesel couldn't be on set at the same time. They hate each other so bad.
You allegedly called Vin Diesel a candy and unprofessional, didn't film any scenes together. What was the most unprofessional behavior you witnessed from Vin?
You gotta plead the fifth on that. I believe in doing things a certain way. He believes in doing things another way.
People are siding with The Rock.
The Rock even went after another member of Vin and Paul's family.
Shout out to Tyrese, his new album. It's the biggest piece of dog that I have ever heard. I'm never gonna forgive him for wasting my time, mother.
Everyone was turning on Vin, but he was determined not to lose another member of his family. So he asked The Rock to return for the final Fast movie.
Vin posted a plea for him to return.
My little brother Dwayne, the world awaits the finale of Fast 10. My children refer to you as Uncle Dwayne. I told you years ago that I was going to fulfill my promise to Pablo. You must show up, fulfill your destiny.
The Rock responding, I told him directly that there was no chance I would return. It was an example of his manipulation. I didn't like that he brought up his children, as well as Paul Walker's death. Leave them out of it.
But what The Rock saw as manipulation was actually Vin trying to keep his promise to Paul, making the final Fast movie the best one yet.
There isn't a day that goes by without my brother Pablo's soul being the guiding spirit.
You know, God willing, Vin and I will be 80 years old and we'll be racing each other in wheelchairs.
Vin had to learn that he didn't need The Rock to keep his promise to Paul. He could keep it by continuing the legacy they built together.
We finally did it. We finally made Fast 10, the soon I was. We are doing the finale is something that him and I used to fantasize about a decade ago.
Well, I hope tonight you let Pablo know that this is the best one for you guys.
But the most important promise Vin kept went beyond the movies, taking care of Paul's family.
I know you take good care of Paul's daughter.
He takes good care of me.
Vin Diesel stepping in to walk Meadow Walker down the aisle.
To see her with my children is one of the most beautiful things, because I can only imagine what my brother's seeing.
I know you had a baby and you named her Pauline after Paul, I believe, didn't you?
It's all because Paul Walker told me to go into the delivery room. When I was blessed to be in that same situation, I couldn't help but to remember Paul and his advice. So once it came time to sign the name, I started writing Paul. And then just added I-N-E.
And the world started to see Vin and The Rock's feud differently when The Rock made a surprise appearance in the final Fast movie.
Black Adam caused this man to crawl back, crying and begging Vin Diesel for a job. Dude, I'm losing it.
He acts the big tough macho man, but he's a phony and people are waking up to it.
By focusing on his family, Vin kept the promise he'd made to Paul.
So long as you keep going, you're all right.
You just about broke the internet. Why was it so important for you to join this franchise?
I've always thought about honoring my dad, have this very special moment, and I can always share that with him.
What do you think Paul would say about her being in this film?
I just think he's proud. I wish you could be here to see this, but I know he's here in spirit. We can't guarantee tomorrow, but we can guarantee an eternal brotherhood. And our love will continue.
Brendan Fraser's back after 10 years. But was The Rock the reason he disappeared in the first place?
The first movie was a good movie. We had an opportunity to make it better.
The Rock replaced Brendan in the franchise he made a hit. Brendan is one of the nicest guys in the world, and he helped The Rock get his big break. But little did he know, The Rock would take advantage. The Rock was a wrestling champion determined to take over Hollywood.
I want the world. I want to do it bigger and better. You can't get rid of me that easy.
Brendan tried to keep up, and it nearly killed him.
I almost gave my life at one point. I was on a platform with a rope around my neck. I thought, I'm gonna make this look really good. So I took a few deep breaths, and I realized I was on the balls of my feet, and the rope was going up, and then the world kind of dialed down. I came to, and the stunt coordinator goes, "Hey, congratulations. You've just joined the club with Mel Gibson. He got choked out on Braveheart, too."
Why would he put himself through that?
Because throughout his career, Brendan always wanted to please people.
I think I was just so game and ready to go no matter what that they figured, well, heck, he's here, he's made up, he's paid for it, we might as well have him jump off the cliff. Light him on fire, too. I'd just be like, yep, sure, I'll do another one, no problem.
I'm taking myself very seriously.
Brendan wanted to prove he could be like his favorite action heroes.
The films that I watched as a kid were Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, they were exciting and comic at the same time.
So when he started getting offered leading roles, he'd do anything to prove he was good enough. But all people cared about were his looks.
Our directors would say, run fast, look like a stud, and don't die.
Very handsome in The Mummy.
People aren't recognizing me with my clothes on, that's for sure.
But what set Brendan apart was how kind and down-to-earth he was.
You have an innate sense of politeness. You stand up when I come into the room.
It's a sign of respect.
I think he's a lot more gentle, and it comes across.
But that backfired because he would do whatever people asked him to. It seems like he was afraid of his career running out. He told GQ magazine, "The phone does stop ringing in your career, and you start asking yourself why." But little did Brendan know that this fear would come true. And even worse, the person who took his place was someone he had mentored.
Co-starring in The Mummy Returns, The Rock, ladies and gentlemen.
It's like Indiana Jones.
He's everything that an action hero should be.
The Rock came from the world of WWE and proved he could stand up against other action heroes. And Brendan made him feel welcome.
You had said that Brendan Fraser gave you your start in acting.
Acting was a long-term goal. And coming from the world of wrestling, I was a little concerned with how I fit in, if I was even going to fit in. Brendan said, come in to my franchise.
The Rock quickly got his own spin-off from the series that Brendan had made a hit. So while the world was falling in love with The Rock, Brendan was focusing on his wife and family, but he was still throwing himself into his work.
I had been always playing every role that I had as physically as possible. It caught up with me. I had a few injuries that became another injury.
Brendan's body was failing him. Slowly, he started to take on less and less work until he disappeared and nobody knew why.
Yeah, I remember he looked completely different.
Yeah, the media was all over it. They started taking pictures of him and making fun of his appearance.
Haters have a lot to say about Brendan Fraser's appearance.
He's huge now.
Brendan went a bit too hard on the burgers.
Holy shit, did he age badly.
And the worst part was, now that Brendan didn't have the looks of a typical action hero, it was like the people he worked so hard to please just forgot about him. But what no one knew was that Brendan needed 7 years of surgeries because of all his work injuries.
He was in and out of the hospital. He needed multiple surgeries on his spine, a partial knee replacement. He even had to have surgery on his vocal cords.
And when Brendan did his first interview in years, everyone could tell something was off.
I've relented a bit in recent years.
You know, he does seem depressed.
We discovered that just a few days prior, his mother had died. He said, "I buried my mom. I was in mourning and I didn't know what that meant." But that was only the beginning of the nightmare Brendan experienced while he was away. Brendan had been sexually assaulted by the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, but he never told anyone about it, saying, "I became depressed. I was blaming myself and I was miserable. It made me feel reclusive." And to make things even worse, his marriage collapsed, and Brendan had to watch The Rock replace him because he could still do what Brendan couldn't.
The first movie, Journey to the Center of the Earth, was a good movie. We had an opportunity to make it better.
Make it better? What does he mean?
The Rock was literally trained to become a wrestler from when he was a kid, so he could take the physical strain in a way Brendan couldn't anymore. Brendan realized that his need to please others was keeping him from seeing all he had to offer.
It was around that time that I think I just asked myself, why am I running so far so fast all at once? There's that element of insecurity, and I do not have that any longer. I wanted to get off the merry-go-round, and I reprioritized things.
Brendan started living his life for himself and took roles that challenged his acting skills instead of his body.
I needed to start thinking about how to work smart instead of work hard. It was sort of a fundamental shift in my approach. I had to reinvent myself.
Tom Cruise is rebooting The Mummy. Did that burn you a little bit when you saw that? You're like, come on, man, that's my part.
No, I think Tom's gonna be great.
And when he saw the impact of the Me Too movement, Brendan was inspired to speak out about his assault for the first time.
It's something that took him almost 15 years to talk about, saying a Hollywood Foreign Press Association member sexually assaulted him.
It took people far more courageous than I was who stood together, spoke their truth, and inspired me to do the same.
And when he was invited to the Golden Globes this year, held by the Hollywood Foreign Press, he said, "I will not participate because of the history that I have with them, and my mother didn't raise a hypocrite." Brendan carved a new path for himself and returned the way he wanted, and everyone fell in love with him all over again.
Brendan is making a comeback.
There are so many people out there who love you, and we're rooting for you, and we can't wait to see what you do next.
Shucks, ma'am.
And Brendan finally received recognition for his talent, not his physique.
The actor cried tears of joy as he received a 6-minute standing ovation.
Thank you. You can be pigeonholed or boxed, stretch and grow and try new things.
And The Rock finally spoke out about how Brendan helped his career.
Dwayne Johnson shared his well wishes and thanks to Brendan. "Man, this makes me so happy to see this beautiful ovation for Brendan. Rooting for all your success, brother."
He welcomed me in when he didn't have to, and I never forgot it. So I'm so happy for his success now.
What has it meant to have people so excited to see you back?
I feel the love. I didn't go that far away.
Backlash against The Rock is getting out of control. People are accusing him of using steroids and lying about his success. But will John Cena finally be the one to expose him? When The Rock attacked Cena, everyone thought it was fake.
We had problems with each other.
And The Rock made it personal when he went after Cena's wife.
Rock's got a true story about Cena.
The Rock humiliated him in front of millions, and weeks later, he was divorced. Now he's fighting back and going after The Rock. Will John Cena finally expose The Rock?
John Cena, Rock's Twitter blew up. Hundreds of thousands of tweets. The Rock's Facebook blew up with the link. John Cena's been talking trash about The Rock. Let The Rock put a nail in the coffin right now.
This seems staged. WWE is known for their fake feuds.
That's what a lot of people thought. But this was real. They even admitted it.
We had real problems with each other.
I just don't like the guy personally.
What were their problems?
When The Rock left wrestling to follow his dream of acting, John felt like he was abandoning WWE. Coming up as a wrestler, John actually looked up to The Rock.
We had a wonderful star, was known as the People's Champion and went by The Rock. As a fan, I thought he was always one of, if not the most gifted performer to ever step in the ring.
As an adult, John put his wrestling dreams before everything, and that includes his wife Liz. And when he finally got the chance to wrestle alongside his hero, The Rock suddenly left.
He just said deuces and left WWE, saying you love the gig and you love the business. Show a little bit more respect.
He said, "Just don't f me around and tell me that you love this when you're just doing this to do something else. That's the only thing that gets me really pissed off. He just doesn't give back to anything."
Wait, didn't John become an actor as well? Isn't that a bit hypocritical?
Yes, that's the problem. And The Rock actually called him out for it. It's starting a major fight between them.
When you run The Rock down about being an actor, something I love, about being the people's champion, something else I love, yeah, your two-faced ass has been trying to do the exact same thing for years.
And soon the media and fans turned on John, siding with The Rock.
John Cena is doing the same thing he bashed The Rock for, which makes him a f***ing hypocrite. This is one of the reasons why I don't like John Cena.
Instead of apologizing, John kept insisting he was different, instead of just letting The Rock do what was best for him.
He just left to go be a movie star. I've done some movies and I've managed to keep my WWE obligations, so I know it can be done. He just left us kind of hanging.
John and The Rock decided to settle their fight in the ring, but he had no idea what he was getting himself into when The Rock performed a song about him in front of millions.
You want to hear a little gossip? It's a true story about Cena. Rock saw Cena making out with Eve. I guess he didn't tell her that he's got a wife.
Yeah, that's a real brutal call out. But who's Eve?
Eve was a fellow wrestler in the WWE.
Wow, that's bad.
Yeah, and John was humiliated. But what nobody knew is that his wife was already worried that he was cheating on her. The one thing that he was desperate to hide now was being exposed on TV. And soon after, John was the one that filed for divorce.
It is something that is entertaining, of course. One person throwing a shot to the other person. But there is a possibility of an escalation, of things getting a bit personal, to where it can ruin the relationship.
And now that work was all he had, he put all of his time and all his focus there. And part of the work seemed to be with his new relationship with another female wrestler, Nikki Bella.
Will you marry me?
What do you mean?
Well, the relationship was actually a storyline for WWE, and they had a reality show. But when John wouldn't give Nikki what she wanted, things started to fall apart.
Yeah. I won't have kids.
John doesn't want kids, so we're not gonna have kids.
You are the #1 granter of Make-A-Wish. 650 wishes. I think you would make, like, kind of the world's greatest father.
Just because you might be good at something, for me, is not a strong enough reason to do that.
I really thought I was okay not being a mom, and I've just come to the realization that I'm not okay with it.
John was only thinking about what he wanted, and because of that, Nikki actually called off the wedding. Desperate to save his relationship, he went on live TV to make his feelings known.
I had my heart broken out of nowhere. I still love Nicole. I still would love to marry Nicole. I still would love to have a family with Nicole.
Here's John on the Today Show making this heartfelt plea. Was there any part of you that thought, I wish you would have just given me a phone call instead of told the world?
I mean, of course.
It's not really fixing the situation. It's just amplifying it, trying to get a reaction from her.
It was too late, and she broke up with him for good. As devastated as John was, it made him stop and realize that he'd been so focused on what he wanted that he wasn't able to see what other people needed from him or what they needed to be happy.
Stubborn, self-focused. Life had always been about me, and it took a very strong look in the mirror for me to be like, why?
He did the most selfless thing that he could do, and he let Nikki go and do what was best for her.
She needs to be happy.
I'm pregnant. I have wanted to be a mom my whole life.
I think he realized that it was important to be able to let people go because it was the best thing for them.
Exactly. And because of that, he could finally see the real reason he'd been attacking The Rock.
As a fan of the WWE, I felt cheated. This people's champion had turned his back on me. Now, in looking back, I was just being a selfish fan, and I wanted my Rock to stay in my universe. He has done so much more for our industry, for guys like myself, by going out there and showing the world, like pro wrestlers, there's a lot more to us.
When the media and the fans started to turn on The Rock, John saw how he handled the backlash.
Joe Rogan has been on The Rock's case about using steroids to achieve his kind of physique.
The Rock claiming, no, actually, Black Adam's doing just great. Well, a lot of people are able to see right through that.
The Rock admitted to using steroids, saying, "I tried it when I was 18 or 19. But he wouldn't back down from claiming his film was a success. John could have been like The Rock, doing anything to make sure his acting career was a success. But instead, he focused on giving back to his fans so they wouldn't feel abandoned by him.
Nobody's granted more Make-A-Wishes than you. Where did that compassion come from?
I'm able to see the joy it brings not only to the children, to the families, and that joy equals hope, and hope can sometimes move mountains.
By allowing others to do what's best for them, John made amends with The Rock.
We had a great rivalry. Now, what's great, he's one of my best friends.
He said you guys used to be rivals.
True.
Now you're friends.
Yes, I've been honest enough to lean into my failures. When you're the problem, you gotta lean into it, you gotta solve it.